For the second year in a row, over 500 cadets will hold a candlelight ceremony on April 8, and cadets will stand vigil all night at the tomb of the unknown soldier. They will also participate in the national ceremony for the following morning. More than 5,000 Canadians will join Veterans Members Organization and 100 members of Canadian Forces in Vimy on Easter Monday for commemorating and especially making a transition for young Canadians to learn about the key role Canada played in this battle and learn more about the stories and sacrifices of Canadians in the First World War. So that's quite inspirational. One thing that is very good, Mr. Speaker, we also need some additional funding as I come to you, is our Community War Memorial Program and Cenotaph Monument Restoration Program. There's a very good communities throughout the country are asking for funds whether to rejuvenate, build new cenotaphs, and I'm sure members here around the table have seen project nearby. So it's there's a good uptake from this program. Et la semaine dernière, j'étais près de Brighton, en Ontario, c'est près de la base militaire aérienne, où j'ai donné, le gouvernement a versé une contribution de 50 000 $ pour un projet de construction. This monument was inaugurated in 1927 by Sir Arthur Currie and has not been improved then, so I think this is more than welcome. So in closing, Mr. Speaker, I just want to reaffirm that as parliamentarian, I can see we are all here today to make the lives of our veterans better. That's my very goal as a Minister of Veterans Affairs, and I really insist for me, and I've instructed my official that we need to move on with cutting red tape and making a more hassle-free making our program more easier to access for veterans. So with this, I'll be more than happy to take your comments and questions.
Thank you very much, Mr. Minister, and I do understand you do have to get away around 4:30. Was that correct?
I beg your pardon, Mr. Speaker?
I said that you have to leave the committee.
Yes, I do. Yes,
4:30
indeed. Yeah.
So I just want to make the members aware that up in that time, certainly questions be directed to him, but Madam Tyning, staying with the staff, will provide detailed answers beyond that as well. So to begin the rounds, we will go around now to the various members of the committee, and I'm going to watch the clock very closely, and we start with Mr. Stauffer for 5 minutes, please.
Well, Minister, and to the Suzanne and James, thank you very much for coming today. I really appreciate it. Sir, I was just wondering, I'm going to ask you 3 questions, and you can answer them when I'm done asking the questions. Number one, can you show me on the estimates where the cuts to St. Anne's Hospital, the transfer to Quebec, where those 1,300 jobs are shown as a loss in terms of departmental staff? Also, we understand, Mr. Speaker, and further in previous discussions we've had in this committee and others, that an additional 500 jobs may be on the chopping block over a 2 to 3 to possibly 4-year period. And I'm just wondering if you could tell me exactly where those are in the estimates, if indeed that is going to happen. And if you could tell me how many employees DBA has now, and how many employees will they have by the end of 2014-2015? That's question number one. Question number 2, you had talked about eliminating red tape.
I thought these were your 3 questions.
You talked about red tape, and you're bang on the money. Every government should look at its department to make sure the red tape is being eliminated. But I've asked you many times about the Veterans Review and Appeal Board. This is the frustrating stumbling block for many, many veterans. Would you not agree with us that if you really want to eliminate red tape, to eliminate the Veterans Review and Appeal Board and put that $11 million that it costs to run that politically appointed board into programs and services for veterans? And number 3, this is a soft one for you, because I was asked by the individuals from Bomber Command. As you know, there's a ceremony in England regarding a ceremony over Bomber Command, and some veterans who served on Bomber Command wanted to know if indeed the government is planning to do a presentation there, and if it is all possible, if the government plans to take a couple of the veterans from Bomber Command to reignite and revisit that history in England. And I thank you very much for coming.
Well,
Say you've got about 3 minutes to answer, and I'll give you one.
Okay, that's good. That's good.
Not bad, 2 minutes.
I'll try to do the most I can with the time I am given. Well, first, I would like to address the St. Anne's Hospital to honorable member. Well, St. Anne Hospital, actually we are having a good discussion with the Quebec government, but at this point in time there are no agreement in principle nor any agreed agreement. So at this very moment I really need the full amount for the current fiscal year, so we are able to provide a first quality services to our veterans. As you know, we have a high level of service for our veterans. It's important that we keep on providing those services. In the meantime, I must tell you that as a minister, it is important for me to move forward with our negotiation with the Quebec government for two reasons. The first is that as the population is declining, we have a hard time to we have a skilled workforce, and to make sure that we are providing this workforce with all the challenges it needs, we need to have we close a floor every month. So this is my first priority, is to maintain high level service to veterans. So that's why we are looking for opportunities with the Quebec government, and of course those employees, they are great staff, they are skilled personnel. I think they can provide service to the community, the Quebec community. So that's why we'll be moving forward. But at this point in time, I need all the money. You've addressed the red tape issue, and I would like to come back on the tribunal. I think the member will be given the opportunity. I understand that in the near future, the chairman of the tribunal will be here. There are three things I would like to say regarding the tribunal. As you know, this department is processing more than roughly 40,000 requests a year. Most of these requests are accepted at a level of, let's say, 3 to 4. Some of those requests are not accepted by our department, and I find it important for our veterans to have a tool so they can revisit this decision. And this is exactly what the tribunal is all about, as you're well aware. And as of last year, let's say when they would revisit the decision, 50% of those decisions would be revisited and rendered in favor of the veterans. The tribunal is important for veterans, not necessarily for the minister, not for the members. It is important that we have an effective tribunal, and that's why within this tribunal, as you know, this is a skilled, competent members who are appointed. They are RCMP veterans, they are military, they are medical personnel experience, they are people with some background in judicial or other jurisdictions. So it's important that we have an effective tribunal, because it is helping a lot our veterans. There are certainly improvements that can be made, and especially to make sure that our veterans are not caught in a too long procedure. But one aspect I think is important of the tribunal, it is as this veteran scholar, and this is something I think our veterans cherish. Regarding the Bomber Command, that's a good point, and that's part of the centennial of the first, even though it's Second World War, that's part of commemoration. And do we have the capacity as a government to invest abroad? I have received requests from Gallipoli of the First World War. There's a immense sacrifice that was made in Passchendaele in the First World War, and there's a museum at the house in Passchendaele which is, I'm told, most about Canadian history. Those people are coming to see us, Canada, as a government, and asking, can you provide us with some funding? Now the Bomber Command is for the Olympic of London. It relates to these great ces pilotes de l'air qui ont effectué des bombardements en Allemagne pendant la Seconde Guerre mondiale. Alors effectivement, je pense qu'il est important d'identifier des mécanismes. On a maintenant des mécanismes pour donner des programmes pour encourager la commémoration ici au pays par des activités ou par des cénotaphes, mais on n'a pas d'outils à l'international. C'est clair qu'on doit toujours garder l'emphase sur la commémoration ici au pays, mais il y a des rendez-vous comme ça qu'on ne peut presque pas manquer. Alors, c'est clair que j'ai l'intention de me pencher là-dessus au cours des prochains mois.
Thank you, Mr. Minister. Between the two of you, we allowed to go a little bit over, but we're going to have to push along now. Thank you. Now we'll hear from Mr. Casey for 5 minutes. Sir, I'm sorry. I looked the wrong name. It's Ms. Adams for 5 minutes. My apologies.
Thanks very much, Mr. Chair. Minister, thank you for attending today, along with department officials. The opposition parties over the last number of weeks have been indicating that there are some dramatic decreases coming towards veterans, when in fact, Minister, you've been quite clear that all benefits to veterans will be maintained. I'm looking at the main estimates that you've provided to our committee today. Page 343 indicates the amount of money that you're seeking for disability awards and allowances, and just below that, the amount that you're seeking for the earnings loss and supplementary retirement benefits. This year over last year, you're seeking $60 million additionally for disability awards and allowances to our veterans, and an additional almost $41 million for the earning loss and supplementary retirement benefits. Minister, if you'd be so kind as to provide an explanation for the increase amount of money that we will be providing to Canada's veterans.
Okay, I would like to thank the parliamentary secretary. Well, yes. Our programs are working. As you know, this department is needs-based program. So once we set up a program, it is quasi-statutory, which the member know well, means that if one person needs it, one person will have it. If 100 person needs it, 100. If 10,000, then we'll go up to 10,000. And what we've noticed, especially in the supplementary, just to finish the current year, is 70% of the additional funding that is requested to, I would say, to finish the year not financially, fiscally sound, is coming from the enhancements to the new Veterans Charter and a stronger uptake than expected from the modern veterans on the improvement that have been made to the new Veterans Charter. So that's why you have this $60 million for the disability award and allowances, the $40 million, which is the earning loss benefits, which are a key component, but not only of the new Veterans Charter. And there's also, I may note that we are investing at this point in time $10 million in technology to streamline our processes and better the services to veterans. So there's also some other investment. We have actually $1.5 million for the Community War Memorial Program, because at the time the estimate were done, the program was not fully operating then.
Minister, our Conservative government brought in the new Veterans Charter, and then you announced the enhancements to the new Veterans Charter that recognize the needs of our modern veterans. And clearly the $100 million in additional monies that will flow to our veterans is meaningful to those individuals. So I'd like to thank you for that, the dedication and the fact that the money is actually flowing to our veterans is really the most important component here. You've also recently announced the Helmets to Hard Hats program, and you're seeking money in these estimates. Could you provide some explanation as to how the ministry is helping our current veterans transition into civilian life through that program?
Yes, sure. And just as of the main estimate of this year, we are asking for an increase of 1.3%. Regarding the helmet to hard hats, this is a joint partnership. Actually, the TransCanada is putting $1 million in the next 5 years for this program. The government of Alberta is putting in, if I may say, use the expression, some money. We are putting $150,000 actually in this program, and basically what it is a website that is aimed to that it will be available for veterans so they can